Now, when it comes to Drake, well, now, if you are ready to see how Tupac disrespected Tupac, and now he has faced seemingly the full wrath that he ever could from what is left from the dynasty that Pac built, and well, at the same time, Drake is still getting chased out of hotels, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. And now, once again, well, as we are still in a strange situation, which I can't say too much on yet, but it's because of how we are calling out Drake and talking about what's just happening, well, please be sure to leave that like and subscribe, because I have never needed it more, and well, with us charged up from all your support, we will be able to cover the fall of Tupac no matter what anybody tries to do. And well, speaking of just that, with what just happened to the guy who studies how to find fake Tupac items on Temu for a living, well, now, for more people who were seemingly friends and very close with Tupac speaking up about their thoughts on Drake and how he is treating his legacy and image, to none other than the supervillain final boss himself, Suge Knight, exposing Drake once and for all and showing how a real villain in rap is supposed to act. Well, overall, with all of the remaining people who were associated with Pac pretty much having a word with Drake now, and this all leading up to this confrontation with Suge. Well, we are seeing this Tupac and loser pack it up and get sent back to the Cosmics once again. And well, now when it comes to Temu Pac being the furthest thing from the real Pac, well, over everything else, the most important thing that we have seen from this entire controversy and Drake getting caught for having this whack fake chain, well, obviously it is all coming from the words spoken from the final boss of rap supervillains in none other than Suge Knight. And now with Suge, well, after everybody was trying to have a word on what this chain was really from, who were given these things, how the real ones actually looked, and what Drake is trying to accomplish from this, well, Suge Knight just did an interview on the Art of Dialogue show over the phone, of course, to talk about all of this, and within what he said, well, now from exposing the truth about the chain Drake got to calling him out for what he did, well, now we are really seeing Drake anger one of the most feared people in the history of the entire music industry, which is saying so much. And really now, with some of the stuff that Suge is saying and with how angry he is for what Drake is trying to do with the chain and how he feels it's disrespecting his own legacy and what he built, well, Mr. I study how to lose for a living is lucky that this is a different era, because if Suge was able to have a meeting with him, Lawbury would probably end up in the same situation like Vanilla Ice did with Suge, which if you don't know that story, well, just trust me for now, that has way more meanings than you think. And so now to get to the full statement from Suge Knight, well, I'm quite sure it's not true. When I came up with the idea to make the D-Row chain, one, it had never been done before. Two, it was like wearing a it was like wearing your flag on your rag. You can't tuck it. It means something. And now after Suge went on a long rant dissing half the rappers on the label and said that he didn't want to give them a chain because they weren't worthy of it, and explained what Pac's actual chain was from and how bad he wanted to wear it and show it off, Suge ultimately made this statement. That's not Tupac's chain, it's not a D-Row chain. Whoever sold you that chain, Drake, you need to go, and we gotta cut it off there because Suge just says some way more crazy stuff that we can't even say. But with this, well, really now, with the final boss himself, Suge, explaining what it actually represents to hold the item that Drake wished he had the real version of, and then ultimately seeing the guy who made and was responsible for these chains coming out and saying that Drake doesn't have anything close to the actual one. Well, for the Drake stans who are still trying to make this look like a flex and explain how Drake is secretly a genius by doing all of this and how he is the new Tupac or something, you gotta just get out of here with that, because really, while Suge should never be the right voice on anything, as he literally did make the chain, he has the most authority to speak on this situation than anybody else. And for him to confirm that we are really looking at Temu Pac, well, between this and Pac's close friends also coming out and doubling down on this very same sentiment, well, overall, while they are really trying to tell us that Tupac is the new Tupac and he represents everything he did, listen, for Lawbury, no matter how much he tries to fake Pac, he will never be him, because of course, after a year where everybody else remotely close to the legend took Kendrick's side, and if we go back to Lawbury, the Tupac estate did make him take tailor-made freestyle down, which was not because of Kendrick, and if you believe that, then you probably believe his disses about Baby Keem writing Good Kid Mad City from Family Matters too? Well, listen, in actuality, and with this very moment, we are seeing Drake not just fail to be Tupac or not get accepted for having this move that he thought was so cool, but we are really seeing him get rejected from the pure embodiment of what hip-hop is in terms of the essence of what Pac has ever stood for and what his legacy represents, which for Drake, no matter what, is he is now getting rejected by everything that a legend is supposed to represent, and at that, somebody who he clearly wants to be perceived as somebody close to. You know this is weighing on him and is making him just more angry and bitter about everything. And really, at the same time as all of this for Tupac, as Kendrick has of course been co-signed by Tupac's entire family for his entire career, all the way up to Tupac's very own mother, which is about the highest honor that he could have gotten. I mean, for the cosplaying dork whose ego is made of tissue paper, you know this is all affecting him, and he is going to have to come to terms with this no matter how he wants to try and hide the fact that he is. And really, when you just see how things have played out with Drake and Pac once again come full circle, well, after we have seen Drake just disrespect Pac to the point where his family was so mad with Taylor Freestyle that they did make him take it down. They did send him a cease and desist, and it was not Kendrick, but it was them. Well, really, for Drake to almost try to get spite on everybody the way he did and see him lose once again, it really is great. And now, speaking of losing, well, once again, after Drake tried to stage hotel meetups and thought he was the next Michael Jackson, after the issues he had in Copenhagen where fans were chanting "Not Like Us" and his team just lost it and he got embarrassed bad, well, things have managed to spiral out of control, as now Drake didn't just run away from Copenhagen yet, and he's seemingly still staying in the same hotel room. And well, now ever since this, well, everybody's going crazy, as the guy who trolled him with "Not Like Us" is now trolling more people with more songs all around the arenas and places Drake is performing. And in addition to this, there are now people lining up outside of Drake's hotel and seemingly protesting and trying to get some sort of a reaction out of this. And listen, when we've seen how that Drake has just made a moment where people are now going up to him and trying to elicit a reaction because of the precedent that he has set. Listen, no matter what people are trying to get out of this, Drake is showing once again how your actions really do have consequences and how your choices are only going to make things worse when you show how much of a loser you really are. Because at the end of the day, for Tupac now, after we have seen him just get so mad and see the way that the bodyguards tried to get all in the person's face who was playing "Not Like Us," and now we've seen some sort of a spectacle and joke be created here. Well, listen, if you don't think this is going to continue for the rest of the time while Drake is on tour, I got news for you, because now that he has set a precedent and he has shown how much it bothers him, well, listen, now Drake is going to receive even more disses and backlash from the people, and at that, it's only because of the reaction and way he tried to aura farm with these meetups in the first place. And really, when we just put that into perspective, well, really, from the fake chains with Tupac, which got him where he is now there, to trying to make a fake meetup with people, and now from playing "Not Like Us" to try to troll Drake, to just bothering Drake to the point where he can't even stay in a hotel. Well, once again, for trying to get on MJ's level and act like they are anywhere near the same when they, of course, are not. This is what Drake is getting. And really, when we just look at all of this, from trying to become Tupac but ending up as Supac, to trying to be MJ and now you are whatever you are, which you can't even get a good sleep anymore, I think it's important to sometimes remember your role and really remember who you are. And if you want to move up, well, listen, as you said, Drake, you gotta put in the hard labor. You can't just try to grift and deceive your way to get up in the world, and this is why things are only getting worse for you, and ultimately why you're just becoming a bigger and bigger joke, to the point where beyond music and beyond the antics on the timeline, people are literally treating you like a straight comedy show. And overall for Drake, as he has just set these precedents and said, hey, this is all okay, and he's honestly encouraging it just with the reactions that he keeps giving and showing that he is really one of the just most memeable people out there, and definitely in the hip-hop space. Well, really, no matter what happens from here for Team Pac, all we can say is that he didn't just ask for this. But honestly, with the way he has acted and with the way he has tried to disrespect and falsely get on the playing field that legends are on, he kind of deserves it. And so now with all this said, let me know, what do you think about the latest controversies that Drake is in, and where do you think this is all gonna go? Because seriously now, from faking Tupac to faking MJ, Drake doesn't just have a problem, but he has now created something that I think is only gonna continue to last on these tours, as people are just seeing how funny and easy it is to troll the guy and get under his fragile ego skin. Now, I can't wait to hear what you have to say about all of this, and now if you made it to this point in the video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. It helps me out a ton. And now if you want to see how right before this, well, people trolled Drake bad outside of his hotel room, and we never got a better reaction than from the crash out that we saw go right on as he tried to act like he was unbothered, and then his security guards went crazy. Check out the suggested video.